Good afternoon. It's another episode of Meet the Experts. I'm excited for this one. For those that don't know me, my name is Jay Vicks. I own a digital marketing agency in the Greensboro, North Carolina area called JVI Mobile Marketing. And a while back, we came up with the idea that it would be a good idea to learn more about other business owners or just experts in their field. And we decided we would start in the Greensboro or Triad area of North Carolina. Well, if you have a business and you'd want to be on here and you were outside of the area, we don't really discriminate. We'd love to talk to you anyway, because we just like learning more about businesses. So about 2 months ago, I had a great conversation with today's guest, John Chapman, and definitely a great opportunity today. And I think it's going to be a really fun interview. John basically wrote me back and he said, let's see what trouble we could get into. And I love that, right? That's the kind of the attitude that I take. And so John is the co-founder and executive director of the North Carolina Sales Institute. And I'm going to go ahead and bring John up on the screen now.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, it was actually when this storm hit, I was actually on the coast of North Carolina and said, I'm not going to come back till this morning. So I missed it all. And
lucky you.
Yeah, well, the driveway was a little messy when I got to it, but the roads were plowed. So all's good, you know?
Yeah, it seems like everything's melting today out there. So
they're supposed to freeze, and then we'll get more at the end of the week. So
I know, I heard. And I haven't, you know, it's funny. I have another episode of Meet the Experts this Friday. And I was like, if Mackenzie's out of school again that day, my daughter's 6 and she's home today. My wife has her in the other room, like trying to be quiet because she's going live on Meet the Experts. And I'm like, if I have to do another episode this week with her out of school. But anyway, well, cool. Good to have you. So just take me through a little bit about how long you've been in business here in the Triad and a little bit about what you do.
Well, I came here, Jay, back in 1991. And there was a little rinky-dink company. It was actually, the factory was in Danville, Virginia.
Yeah.
And none of us wanted to live in Danville. So we all, you know, took up stakes here in Greensboro, and it was in the home improvement industry. And it was $6 million. And we ended up growing it to about $100 million over the course of 16 years, and then sold it in the late 2008, 2009 timeframe. And so I still, I started consulting. I started doing sales strategy work ever since then. And then there was an ad in the paper to teach this one sales class at UNCG at the Bryant School. And I applied for it and got it. And the head of the department said, gosh, you're really good at this. What do you think about a whole sales program? So him and I both co-founded the North Carolina Sales Institute. So we're teaching young people the modality of sales. And I'm happy to say I have students working all over the world with companies like Google, MuleSoft, Oracle, Dell Computer, and local and regional companies as well. So we teach them how to sell.
That is awesome. You kind of hit my next question too, where I was going to say, you know, it is a very interesting career, like just teaching people how to sell, but from a university level is really cool. Are there other universities that do?
There are.
Okay.
I mean, when we started the Sales Institute back in 2015, very few universities, but they're realizing it, as you know, Jay, nothing happens unless somebody sells something. So, you know, we can have all the finance people in the world, or an accounting people, but in manufacturing people, but something's got to sell to sort of get the, you know, the ball rolling. And as you grow businesses, you know, you hire people to help you manufacture or partners and things of that nature. So, you know, my first sales class, I'll tell this story because I love to tell it. I went in and there was 19 souls in the class, and I told the students, this is the most important class they're ever going to take. And the students, you know, they just sat there. And I said, this is the sales class, right? And they go, yep. And I said, all right, I just want to make sure, you know, How I Met My Mother. I don't know if you ever saw that episode where he started teaching the class and he was in the wrong class. So, so anyways, I said, this is a sales class. I said, who wants to be entrepreneurs? And about 90% of them raised their hand. And I said, well, good, I'm in the right class. And they said, well, what do you mean? You know, entrepreneurship and sales is so different. I said, oh no, it is, you got to sell like crazy. First of all, sell yourself, then you have to find investors and partners to help you build or service your product. And then you have to sell something and get paid for it before you run out of money. And I said, you're selling all day long. So, being an entrepreneur, you're definitely selling. So that sort of got their attention.
Awesome. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if I didn't sell anything, I would have gone broke very quickly,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's how you build a business, is all through sales. Well, so I think it's fascinating. So what would you say is your favorite part of what you do? What's your favorite part of the work?
Well, when I consult with companies, when that aha moment happens and they start pivoting and starting to move in the direction that, I usually see fairly early. It just takes them a while to see, especially in industries that have matured a little bit. And I'm a big believer in the 80-20 principle. 20% of your customers make up 80% of your revenue. And you start focusing on those 20%, good things start to happen. And when that, like I said, when the bell chimes and they start following that path and watching their business grow, it gets me excited, and they end up, hitting their goals and making money. So it's always exciting to see that happen.
It is fun. For us as a marketing agency, it's really a lot of fun when we start to see, our lead generation efforts, or a funnel that we've kind of worked on devising or integrating into their business. When you start to see leads add up, or sales add up, or another sale comes through for some of our e-commerce clients, it's really fun. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little ticker up. We're going to come back to this in a little bit, but this is just some information for our viewers. If you're watching this right now and you have any questions about sales or the Sales Institute, or just general sales questions of growing your business, you can go ahead and put them in the comments. We'll be happy to display your comment up on screen if you have a good question for John. If you want to learn more about John, his website and email are at the bottom of the screen, scrolling across, and we'll come back to that in a few minutes. So you mentioned you went into this with a partner, or do you still have a partner in this? Or tell me about your team.
But the institute at the university is separate. The consulting, the website you see is my consulting wing.
Gotcha.
And then the North Carolina Sales Institute that's housed at the Bryan School, and it's a professor. He's actually a well-researched professor in the field of sales. So I'm more the practical, actually go out there and get it done type guy, and then he does the research end of it. At the end of the day, and he's done some fascinating things with CRM systems, and which I think is kind of interesting. It's good input in, good input out, bad input in, bad input out. So getting salespeople to use CRM system is a real challenge for companies, and so he has written some research on that. That to me, and its whole is a whole nother world of fascination, and we deal with CRMs all the time. So I couldn't agree with you more about the good in, good out, bad in, bad out analogy. That's for darn sure. So let's talk about your consulting business, right? So there may be a business out there that's like, I don't know what my sales process is, or I don't know how to find salespeople, or I don't know how to do this. So tell me about some of the common issues that you might go in and help a business with, or a corporation with. Well, one of the first things I do is why do people do business with you? And what's fascinating to me is I get this, we're really good salespeople. And no, it's really, at the end of the day, what is your unique value proposition? And once we understand their unique value proposition is, okay, how do you marry that up with the customers out there? What industries should you be playing in? What customers are those industries you should be focused on? And really get them laser focused on driving the sales team towards those, what I call, we want to date them type customers. I have this little exercise, it's three-dimensional. We want to date them, they want to date us. And it's really eye-opening. And I'll give you an example. I worked with a company up in Wisconsin. They did about 36 million in sales. They had 102 customers, and we did this exercise. And at the end of the day, they found out that there was a lot of customers that didn't want to date them, and they didn't want to date them either. And so they didn't fire them. They gave them price increases. But then there was other customers they really wanted to invest in and become more strategic. So they ended up going from 102 customers down to about 47, and then grew their business from 36 million to 55 million. And it was a much more profitable business. And one of the things, one of the KPIs was, when I first got engaged with them, was looking at quotes per customer. And it was less than 2% quotes that actually turned into orders. So as we started focusing on the right customers, the quotes to turn to order has grown from 5 to 10. Now it's at 18%. And so it's just, it's qualifying the customers, qualifying the quotes, because at the end of the day, you don't want to waste anybody's time. You want your sales team focused on who's really your customer. So it's a real, like I said, when those lights go off and there's aha moments, that gets me excited.
I totally relate. You and I are definitely cut from the same cloth. One of the things that we teach when we go into a business, you mentioned so many analogies that we teach from a marketing standpoint, is just, one of the questions that we ask first is, how do customers happen? Right. And you kind of said it too, is like, where's your business coming from? Right. So how do customers happen? And then we talk about all the time about dating, that your relationship with your customer is a human to human relationship. So you have to look at, how do human relationships happen, right? And we use the analogy of not proposing on the first date with your customers, right? And building a relationship with them and dating them before you deliver the aha moment that's gonna turn into the sale, right?
Absolutely.
The proposal. And if you do it wrong or you skip steps, it's almost like assault. Right? You're doing it wrong. You're going too fast. You're skipping steps. You're assaulting these people. But yet you look at it online and you're like, you see these ads online all the time, and you're like, I have no idea who this company is, but they're trying to sell me. And it's like, buy me a cup of coffee first, right? So let's talk about this. Talk about it. It's like, get to know these people and turn the strangers into and try to work on getting that first date, and then try to work on dating, and then the sales will come.
I always say,
that to me is great.
As you get engaged, it's really, you really want to understand their business before you even know your product or service is right for them. And I always ask, when I meet people for the first time, what are your goals? What are some of your just open-ended questions that gets to the essence of what they're trying to accomplish. What keeps them up at night at the end of the day, and getting to know them, and I know fairly quickly if there's a good fit or not, and they do too. And I always tell them, can't put a round peg in a square hole. And even when you're calling on potential prospects, what are their goals at the end of the day, and if you understand their goals and you can align what you sell as a product or service to help them achieve their goals, then you're on the right path to getting a sale. But it does take them. You got to date them. People buy when they trust you, and they won't buy if they don't trust you.
Absolutely. I see it all the time in my business. I see it all the time with clients, and anything I've ever learned about sales, you're hitting the nail on the head. And so we definitely, we've ruled that you definitely know what you're talking about, which is good. You're qualified to run the North Carolina Sales Institute, as if there were any doubt.
Believe it or not, I'm a trained accountant too, so I can read P&Ls upside down. I always tell people that.
That's awesome. So I know we have a ticker going at the bottom of the screen. So just tell people, how can people get in touch with you privately if they want to learn more about how you might be able to help them?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, John L. Chapman, and also the jlchapmangroup.com is my website, and would love to love to talk about. And one of the things that I think is so important, people confuse sales as a bad thing. It's not. It's very, very strategic, and you have to be very strategic to be good in sales, especially B2B sales. consumer sales, if you work for Procter and Gamble, Tide and things like that you have to have Tide at your Harris Teeter. But in B2B sales, it's really understanding, what your customer does, what their pain points are, and understanding them as human beings. That is so imperative, and it's very strategic. Every customer has to have a different strategy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's what gets missed. Is it's not smiling down. Let's sit down and do your homework. Is this customer attracted to me? And ask them for a date at the end of the day.
I love it. I love it. Well, John, thank you so much. It was super fun to have you. I told you the episode was going to go quick. I mean,
Yeah.
16 and a half minutes. We're actually a little longer than most episodes. So very engaging. But don't go anywhere. I'm gonna bring you down, and I'll chat with you once we're done. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a guest.
All right, Jay, enjoyed it.
All right, take care. All right, that was John Chapman. He is now sitting backstage waiting for this episode to end. Fun interview. John seems like a great guy. Love to get to know him more and work with him. And you should too. So if you have a business and you have questions about sales processes, developing your sales organization, what those numbers look like, or I guess additionally, if you need to know how to read your P&L upside down or backwards, John seems to be an expert at that as well too. Listen, so I would be remiss if I didn't tell you a little bit more about what Meet the Experts is and what I do. So Meet the Experts is a interview platform where we interview experts in their field or small business owners, just to give them a chance to talk about their business online. And why do we do it? Well, I own a small digital marketing agency called JBI Mobile Marketing, and we help small business owners try to double their sales in 12 months on the marketing side. So a good lead in from what we do to what John does is you start with the marketing, you do that homework, and then you get help at the middle of that funnel. So if you need any help with your digital marketing, or if you're not sure and you just want to be a guest on Meet the Experts, you can actually visit guests.advertisinggreensboro.com. Like I said, you don't have to live in the Triad area or Greensboro, but that's where we're talking to people in right now, but we will interview you even if you're outside. So if you just want some free content, free commercial for your business, like I said, go to guests.advertisinggreensboro.com, and hopefully we'll be chatting soon. So until then, or until Friday, which is our next live Meet the Experts, have a wonderful day, stay safe and warm, and we'll talk soon.